listening to the Cars of Carlisle podcast, episode 49, Bob Blanton, Fast Car, Big Heart.
Cars of Carlisle is your favorite internationally downloaded podcast about all things automotive. Darren and his CFC team are ever searching for interesting automotive happenings, real stories about real car people, and fun features to inform and entertain you. Each week, the Cars of Carlisle crew brings you show topics ranging from car shows to team adventures to auto racing weekends to behind-the-scenes human interest stories from car nuts that live across town, across the country, or even across the globe. Come join the road trip.
Today, Darren cruises to York, Pennsylvania to hang an enviable mancave garage of Bob Blanton. Meet Bob, a fun-loving, altruistic guy who has high octane flowing through his veins. Not only does this owner of a 2009 Challenger SRT have a passion for fast cars, he is incredibly giving of his time, talents, and money in supporting wonderful causes via Rally North America. For nearly 10 years, Bob has been raising tens of thousands of dollars to help improve the lives of others, like children with terminal illnesses and the families of fallen police officers. You're invited into Bob's garage for a tour, as well as to ride along with the guys on a low-level flight in the Dodge-factory Torre Red Challenger. In today's episode, you'll learn about Rally North America and how Bob, his wife, and 80-plus rally teams have driven some of the best mountain twisties and backroads throughout the United States and Canada. It's time to rally. So, let's get revved up.
Spent some time in Bob Blanton's garage. What a great guy. Met him through a local club and spent a good part of the afternoon just hanging out with him. He took me for a ride in his Dodge Challenger SRT. Incredibly fast car. Had a lot of fun with that. We had the back end of the car. We broke it loose more than once. It was fun. So before we get into today's episode, I want to say a big thank you to Cars of Carlisle sponsor, Man Engineering. If you have any need for high performance quality, the very best parts you can find aftermarket, you need to check out man-engineering.com. Tell them that Darren sent you and ask for Gary Lou. All right, so today's trivia question, I'm going to give you a hint. In the interview, you'll hear Bob talk about they drove across all kinds of beautiful country during Rally North America, and they've seen incredible roads. The one he makes reference to is a road that the answer will be the route number, and it's the route he feels was referenced in the movie Forrest Gump, whenever Forrest just stops and decides he's done with running. So as a hint, if Bob's answer, it actually is a highway that bisects the state of Utah. Okay, without further ado, let's jump into today's episode. Hello, Cubers. This is Darren, and I am spending a Sunday afternoon with my new good friend, Bob Blanton, in York, Pennsylvania, only about 35-40 minutes southeast of Carlisle. And Bob, thanks for taking time and showing me not only the SRT, but your amazing garage.
Well, thanks. It's functional now. The older I get, the more function it becomes.
That's okay.
Luxury, you know.
Well, the fact that you have this lift, you said you had the car in the air probably just a few minutes before I pulled up into the driveway. You were doing some serious detailing and.
Yeah, I mean, well, my knees don't work like they used to, so the car lift, for detailing, you betcha. In a minute, if it's here, I'm going to use it.
And you put a couple hundred miles on the SRT yesterday.
Oh yeah. Anytime I get a chance, I look for excuses to get the car out of the garage.
Yeah, it's meant to be driven and enjoyed.
Yeah, well, anytime I get to open the door, fire it up, oh, you bet.
Well, we'll get some of that audio here in this podcast. So, Bob, I know when you took me for a ride in the SRT, and that was I feel like I'm a 7-year-old kid right now. It was so much fun. But while we were sitting at a four-way, you mentioned about MAV TV. Why don't you give a little bit more on that?
Yeah, Rally North America, we actually expanded our exposure last year. We contracted with Sopwith Motorsports, the same folks that record and broadcast Mecum Auto Auctions.
Gotcha.
Same group. They hooked up with us. They sent a camera crew along, and each day a few different teams get featured, and it just so happens that Phyllis and I, Team Chillin', we got featured on day one. So you'll see some footage from inside our car. Okay. You'll see footage of her and I, and some of the other teams from day one, and then in each episode, there's a total of 6 episodes, so it's all on MAV TV.
Okay.
They've already gone through the first run airing, but from what I understand, they do a lot of repeat airings.
Okay.
So it's not going to be a problem. That way you can see what we talked about. And you'll
that's
see some
great.
of the cool stuff that we did last summer, like some of the Route 50 stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, Route 50 is just too cool. But,
I'm definitely going to have to check that out.
well, Forrest Gump, where he stopped running on the highway.
Is that what that? Okay.
That's Route 50. We drove that stretch.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It looks like something out of like Close Encounters. It just,
That's Route 50. Route 50 it's the loneliest road in America.
I can see that.
We were the most traffic that road's seen in years.
Wow. Well, you have 85 cars at a pop.
Yeah. Well, we're not all running together because they space us out a little, and of course everybody does their own thing for the scavenger hunt.
Okay. Let's go ahead and Bob, tell us a little bit about how long you've been a Mopar fan and what kind of got you to this point.
I'm going to go back a long time.
That's all right. Keep rewinding.
I think it was like summer of '81. A really good friend of mine, a guy I had just met that year for my first job as a welder. I used to work at a company called BMY York, where we built M109s and M110s, mobile artillery for the Army.
Yeah.
And it was my first job as a welder. Well, I met a guy down there named Eric Snyder, and he had a '66 Plymouth Satellite 383 4-speed car.
That's a great car.
And there was just something, even though those cars were boxy, there was something about the lines on that car. And he was on his way down to our place one night, and he called for help. And we went there, he had the hood up, and every time he would try to start it, all these lightning bolts shot all over the place underneath the hood. So there was something obviously up with his ignition system. I was such a novice in cars those days, I don't even have a clue what that was then at the time. But seeing that car, that's what sparked my interest in the old satellites. So let's fast forward to 2008. After my first divorce, I was like, I had a big house by myself. I had a big ass 2-car garage. It was actually more square footage than this one.
Okay.
But not quite as nice. But anyway, I had the room. I wanted a '66 satellite, so I found a basket case out in Tennessee. So me and a buddy of mine, borrowed my buddy's diesel truck. We go out with a trailer, load this thing up, bring it home, and it's pretty rough. I mean, this thing was going to need probably north of $20,000 in body work to bring it back to life. So I go out to Carlisle, and I'm walking the B-body row, and I spotted this black 67 that was just dead straight, one of the prettiest black cars I'd ever seen in my life. But this car was dead straight. It was clean.
And you can't
spotless.
hide with black paint.
No, you can't. So I asked the guy, I said, man, who did your body work? I said, man, this thing's awesome. He said, I did. I said, man, I'll tell you what, anybody can do a black car, make it look that good. I want him to do mine. So him and I got to chatting it up about the 66 that I had. Now, it was going to be a big black car. It didn't have the original drivetrain, but it did have a 440 to go with it.
Okay.
And I was going to put the manual tranny behind it. So I started putting my plan together, and I called this guy up and said, I said, man, I've been looking at this, and for the money it's going to take me to do the body work on this car, I can buy a car already done. He said, well, why don't you buy mine? I couldn't put the money together fast enough. I bought that car.
Sweet.
Yeah, that thing was just gorgeous. Well, then I took that black car, and the engine bay on that thing, and that thing had already placed a Carlisle in its class for stock, but the engine bay was just too stock for me. So I went crazy with polished aluminum in the engine bay. So polished aluminum and black is a good combination.
Yes, it is.
It was a great looking car. There's a picture of it up there with Ed giving me my trophy.
Oh, nice.
So
Nice.
that's the car there. But, yeah, gorgeous car. And then things in life happen. I sold the car. I had seller's regret as soon as I watched that thing run up the road on the trailer. I knew I made a mistake. I have managed, however, to stay in contact with the new owner, and he has assured me that if he ever sells it, it's mine. And I've got money set aside. If that call ever comes, that car will be parked over here in this other bay.
Nice.
And I'll put a 4-poster in just so I can put mine up top and let her park underneath. I'll
Yeah.
do whatever I have to. That
Yeah.
car's coming home.
That's
But it was because of that and the regret. I'm like, you know what? So through all of that, with preparing to restore the 66 that I had bought, I learned that one of our refrigeration mechanics up in Connecticut was a huge Mopar guy. I was up there on a job, and we got to bullshit. And it's kind of funny how those relationships just happen in your life,
Yeah.
Man, by the time I left from that trip, that guy gave me cylinder heads and this part and that part and all kinds of reference
It's those organic
material.
friendships that usually are the ones that stick around.
Oh my gosh, yeah, and we're still friends to this day. So, yeah, he shared all this information with me, and over time, with just staying in touch with him. When I told him that I called him because I was looking for Challengers, And I said, yeah, what do you think about these prices? And here comes the same statement again. Well, why don't you buy mine? Kind of funny how I keep hearing that, right? Yeah. So this is 2013, and the car is 2009. At the time, only had 4,000 miles on it. So that pretty woman theory we talked about earlier?
Yes.
Yeah, that was happening again. But to his defense, he doesn't have to drive his own car to work. He drives a company van, right? So he doesn't have much opportunity to drive. And plus, he's got a V-code CUDA, a 446-pack car.
Sure.
Numbers matching.
Sure.
All right. So when I bought this from him, he went out and bought another one that he had his eyes on. It turns out that one was 5 digits behind the one he already had in the VIN.
Wow.
Those things went down the line the same day.
Yeah, they did.
Pretty incredible story.
Could have thrown a paper airplane from one to the next.
I'll tell you what, the day I picked this SRT up from his driveway, you couldn't beat the smile off my face that day.
You probably cramped in your face.
Oh my God, it was awesome.
I can see why.
And I got to drive, my first time driving the car, really driving the car as mine, I got to drive it home from Connecticut.
Oh.
Yeah. I know, poor me, right?
Yeah, that's nothing wrong with that story.
No, not at all. But yeah, Craig's a good guy. I shouldn't say was. He's a good guy. His whole family's good folks. I hook up with him every time we come down to Carlisle and all that. So yeah.
And that's what makes the car community, honestly. We talked a little about that before we got into recording today, and it's the people behind the cars that we appreciate.
The friendships.
The camaraderie, the fact of the cylinders. Just people want to give and help and lend a hand. And
look at Ed Bachesky. All that he puts into those events at Carlisle.
He's a phenomenal guy.
The man's got this. Oh, you want to talk about garage envy? This might as well be an outhouse. Have you seen his new garage?
I have not, no.
Oh my God, you got to get up there.
Okay.
Yeah, that place is incredible. But he's got all these cars, but because he put so much time into his family and the car community, he's not putting any time into his own stuff. Although last summer he did put that 6.7 in his 67. I was a little envious of that because that's a pretty cool project. It was funny because I shared earlier that he was always envious of how pretty my 67 was in terms of that black paint. But the fact that he put Hotchkiss suspension under his, he put that 5.7 in it.
It drives like modern art.
Yeah, exactly. And it looks like it still came out of the 60s, right? Well, that's what's cool about it.
Yeah, that's well done that way.
Yeah, absolutely. That thing's a sleeper all day long. All day long. That thing will surprise some rice burners for sure.
Well, I'm going to have to stay on Ed's ear until I get up to Perry County and check that out.
Yeah, you absolutely need to get up there.
I will definitely do that.
There's a couple guys in the club that have some nice collections. By no means am I a collector guy, but I'm a driver. So you give me something. See, that was the thing with the 67. When I sold it, it was probably a good thing because I was driving that car a lot, right? But a black car like that in the summer and on the car shows, it was just, this was a whole lot more fun.
Yeah. Well, and let's talk a little bit. I know we got into that when we talked about the rally, but you've seen nearly every single state.
I've been to 44 of the lower 48.
Okay. And how many of those would be in this car?
Honestly, probably at least half of them.
Okay.
At least half of them. I've been to probably at least 24, give or take a couple states in this car.
Okay.
And this summer we'll knock out the Northeast. Right? Because we're going to go to Maine, so that's going to be New Hampshire,
I was going
Vermont.
to say, you're going to clip all along the
Well, and
coast.
Vermont's the only state in the Northeast I haven't been to.
Okay.
So I need to get there this summer.
And I like your rule. It's an overnight.
It has to be an overnight
You got to hang your hat. Yep.
That's exactly right. I want to contribute. Part of that is contributing to the local economy.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's one of the things Tony's instilled with us for the rally. One of the reasons why he likes the back roads is at some point you're going to contribute to the local economy.
Sure.
Whether it's intentional or not, you're going to do it.
Buying a couple milkshakes, whatever
it is. That's right. And with the cars pull in and the locals see it, then it starts all these conversations. It's incredible how that rolls. I've heard stories, and it hasn't happened to me personally, but I've heard stories of folks getting pulled over by the cops just because the cops wanted to know what the hell they were up to.
Wow.
Right?
That's neat.
No ticket involved.
Well, sure.
Just they wanted to understand what's going on.
Yeah.
There's also been stories of whole groups of being gang pulled over just because different guards and rallies and the reputation, like
Sure.
ball and all that stuff.
Sure.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Any other topics? I'm still racking my brain. I know there was something that I had and it escaped me. I don't know if. Oh, did you want to talk? I can insert this in, but about you and your wife with Team Chillin',
Okay.
or Little Bailey. You name it. Whatever you think we can.
Okay, well, I can talk about how Team Chillin' came to be about.
Let's do that.
All right, so Team Chillin', it was funny. The very first rally, You know, one of the things I learned was there's a lot of teams run themes. Like there's these two crazy guys I think they're out of New Jersey or something like that, and they're called Team Cream. But these guys went as Ice Cream Men. They did Jurassic Park one year. I mean, they did.
They're fun lovers.
Reno 911. They
Yes.
did that one year. The guy with the shorts that
Yep.
are way too tight and all
Yep,
that stuff.
yep.
Oh God, they've done some funny shit over the years. Those guys are hilarious. There's some other teams that do some really good fundraising stuff. You know, we had the Griswold family truckster one year.
Nice.
Right? They had the dog leash tied to the bumper. They had grandma tied to the roof. I'm telling you, it was pretty funny. Don and his wife Sue.
Clever.
Yeah, they're out of like the Reading area or something like that. And it's funny because, you know, the rally is made up of people from across the country, but there's a concentration of us here in Pennsylvania, in this whole part of the country. You know, there's a guy, Hank, who lives down in West Virginia, not that far from us. There's Tony, myself, Glenn Beck. He's a local guy. Teresa, who has a Mustang. Glenn has one. Tony has one. They are all Mustang folks, as is Don Humanic. Like I said, there's a proliferation of Mustangs. I think they did rabbits or something. But but they're always at Carlisle. Now, Carlisle used to have, what's the word I'm looking for? The group of cars. Yeah, what's the word I'm looking for? Oh shit, brain fart. I'm
trying to help you out.
They had a class for Rally North America.
Okay.
That's the word I was looking for.
Okay.
So I'm not sure if they're still running that this year, but for the Mopar show, I went to stickered up one year because the only time I've been able to go since I started rallying was 2015 when we did the Smoky Mountain Rally.
Okay.
And it was because the rally happened to start Sunday after Carlisle was over, so I was able to do Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Gotcha.
So I took the car and stickered up, right? And it was cool. It got looks, you know.
Yeah, sure.
I pulled a third place I think it was just I didn't even pop the hood. I think it was just I wanted the stickers and the charity and all that to do the talking. So, but for that first year, so to circle back around to how we came up with Team Chillin', it was like, all right. And I started it with a buddy of mine at work, a guy named Brian Gallis. He's also an engineer, really sharp guy. I mean, that guy really knows his shit. But he's one of these tinker kind of engineers. I mean, you give this guy a motor and an old Odyssey frame, and he's going to put it together and make something that's badass and fun to drive.
Yeah.
He's just one of those kind of guys. But him and I came up with it. And we were racking our brains. It's like, Brian, what do you think about Team Chillin'? You know, and it clicked for both of us. It's
Sure.
like, and it was Chillin', so it's no G with an apostrophe.
Yeah.
All right.
And I'm standing on the mat.
And he forgot the apostrophe on my rug here. But that's okay. So that's what we came up with. So then it was time for a car number. Well, that was easy. You know, the primary refrigerant for us in what we work with is R134A. So our car number ended up being 134A.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So that's how we came up with it. That's how Team Chillin'.
Great meeting. I mean, great meaning behind all that. I love when things kind of play on words and there's meaning behind it, and you put some clever thought into it.
And especially since the majority of our fundraisers are refrigeration mechanics from all over the U.S.
That's right.
I mean, Hawaii, the contiguous U.S. I mean, we had donors last year from 3 continents. I had one from Dubai, UK, and Australia. Oh, 4 continents, and North America. So we had 4 continents last year. How cool is that?
It's great representation.
Yeah. And they're all refrigeration guys. So the whole relationship with Team Chillin', and I mean, even my professional signature at work underneath my name, before I even put my job title, AKA Team Chillin'.
But this is why you're well over. You've passed that 100 sponsor mark. I mean, as far as the contributors, and you do a great job of being organized. And I like how you talked earlier about it's inclusive. You want them to know what's coming up in 3 months, 2 months. Hey, I'm 2 weeks out, and here's what to expect. And, I mean, people feel like when their name's on the trunk lid and you're doing this decals and the stickers, Bob, I mean, you're taking those people with you.
Well, I did something a couple years ago, and fortunately, all right, so this guy didn't want this, so he gave it back. And the last time we did Hope for the Warriors, I peeled everybody's decal off the car, had these postcards made up. I worked with the charity. We designed these postcards, had them made up so I could send everybody's decal back to them.
That's
I mailed all the decals back to every donor.
That's really above and beyond. And the fact that you take the time to do that, and it says how they were part of the overall.
Yeah. And by the way, that decal did the rally. It was out there in the weather because the year that this one, Hope for the Warriors, let me see, that was 2017. So no, this one did the Southeast. This is the one that went to VIR.
Okay.
And, Roebling Road. Cool road course, by the way.
Okay.
That was the finish line for 2017 was Roebling.
I'm not familiar with that one.
That's in Savannah.
Okay.
Now, it's a flat road course. And for a novice driver like me, because I'm a novice, I'll be the first to admit it.
Yeah.
but I'm not afraid to push it either.
Right.
And I can still watch that video to this day. And that track was fun, but that's why the supercharger, because what I found out on all these road courses, I don't have enough power to get out of the corners.
Okay.
Straightaways, the Mustangs are quicker, right? Mm-hmm. And in the corners, I can catch them, especially now that I did the sway bars. I learned that last summer at VIR.
And you can hook up your torque. I mean, you're putting it down.
But I wasn't getting out of the corners, right? I just didn't have enough power. I mean, I was only pushing, 460 at the crank.
Okay.
Right? You know, and in a car weighs 4,200 pounds, it just ain't enough.
Yeah.
And that was why I made it, because I talked to my wife this past fall, because it was either Hellcat or put a supercharger in this. Mm-hmm. And just because I have the history with the tracks in this car,
yes,
it was a no-brainer to keep this car for me.
Wow. I love the fact that you have such history with her. She's
beautiful. And it's cheaper than buying a Hellcat. Although, I got to say, those Hellcats, I mean, when you look at them, a 2015 Hellcat, right now, you can pick up a 2015 with under 15,000 miles for about $47,000.
For what you're getting.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a lot of go-go.
Hopefully, it wasn't really beat to hell. But,
right.
You know, the other side of that coin is we talked about this with some friends of mine. If you were at Carlisle when the Hellcat first came out and they were doing those ride-alongs, they beat the snot out of those cars.
They did.
For days on end.
Down on the autocross course, and it held up.
Yeah, and there's no regular driver like you or I that's going to beat those things the way those guys did.
I thought I read somewhere, too, that they had done so many successive passes, quarter-mile passes. I'm talking dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens, and it never failed. It never fell off the mark. I don't know where it's in my subconscious, but I remember hearing it or reading it or something.
And the same goes for me. I've heard that exact same statement as well.
Yeah, that it just, I mean, it stayed consistent. It stayed,
and that's where Chrysler Engineering, they deserve a hats off for that design.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, for
now,
sure.
Hopefully I don't find over time that this has the other Dodge problem, which is body panel rust. Fortunately, when it's raining, this thing doesn't go out.
Well, that's...
and obviously, it stays parked all winter, too.
And I'm sure a couple rally days, you may not be able to avoid that.
Oh, my gosh. I have been caught in some horrendous downpours. And that's where the tire selection actually goes a long way, too. Yeah, not that I'm promoting any specific brand, but these BFG G-Force, the Sport Comp 2s, they do a good job of pumping heavy rain.
That's what you need. You want to have some fun on the track, but also be able to keep it straight down the highway.
Well, yeah.
Or the back road.
And when you're running 255s in the front, man, you don't want the front end walking around on you either, right? So,
no. You get a couple tons moving one way, that momentum will take it.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, because as soon as that thing starts to skating, man, any car starts to skate. I don't care if it's a pickup truck, a car, or what.
Yeah.
I mean,
you better know what you're doing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. Well, any final comments, Bob? Anything that you want to share? Cars of Carlisle. As we talked a little bit before at the Mopar Madness Club, have listeners all over our great country and across the world. This, to me, your car represents what American muscle is when people think of just all-out raw horsepower and, of course, the sound, the visceral attitude behind it. Anything that you want to share with the greater listenership?
Yeah, the dyno numbers, man. I was blown away with this.
Talk to me.
Well, when I bought I put a Pro Charger in it.
Okay.
And I debated this, because, man, I could have gone Hellcat. I had permission to go Hellcat.
Yeah.
And I elected to go Pro Charger because it was centrifugal. Okay, so it's centrifugal, plus it works just like a turbo. It's got the blow off, right?
Yeah.
Which means it's going to be streetable in town, low RPM, right?
You can live with it.
Exactly. And then when that blow off closes and you start pulling this thing up over $3,000 and you really feel this thing start to pull, it's a whole lot of fun to drive. So a friend of mine takes me to HHP in Smyrna, Delaware, where this Pro Charger was installed. And the very first pull, this thing pulled 580 horsepower at the wheels with like 515 pound-feet of torque. Something like that, all right? I wasn't paying too much attention to the pound-feet. When I saw 580, I was blown away.
At the wheel, no less.
At the wheel. And I was especially blown away because when I initially ordered the Pro Charger, I thought I was only getting 6 pounds of boost.
Yeah.
They actually set me up with 9. He said, look, this motor's going to take it all day long.
So the bottom end can handle
Well, this is what I'm hoping for. From the research that I've done, it tells me that the 6.1s, and I hope I'm not wrong, if anybody listening to this knows anything else, please reach out to me. But the 6.1s have a good reputation in terms of what you can do to supercharge them and boost them.
Okay.
You just have to be careful about how far you go because then your rods and your pistons, something about the ring land to the top ring groove and all that stuff.
Okay.
But at the end of the day, he said, at 9 pounds, you're going to be able to do this. He said, just don't stay up in max boost all the time, and you're going to be just fine, right? But my final numbers were 583.94.
Oh, my heavens.
At torque of 522.79.
That's a truckload.
Now, granted, that's uncorrected for you detail-oriented guys. That's at 57.23 F at 9% humidity.
Okay.
That's like almost perfect horsepower weather.
That is. That really is.
Because I remember how chilly it was standing there, and they had the fan blowing on the engine. But, you know, in terms of making good horsepower numbers.
Yeah, nice, cold, dense air.
Yeah, exactly.
That is.
Because that puts my crank horsepower, I'm figuring loosely 660, 670.
I was going to say, added what? Yeah.
Something like that. Which, when you think about it, that's only 40, 50 horsepower under a Hellcat. It's not that far below.
And she's yours. Like, you know her, you've known her for so long. So
yep, and I know the nuances of how she handles, and now what I've got to learn is how she handles with all the extra power in the ass end. Because now, with all the work I've done to the rear suspension and all that to make it stiffer, you know, how well is the car going to hook up once I can drive it on warm roads and tracks?
True.
I'm not going to learn that till the summer.
Well, I would love maybe to have a part 2 after you come back from the rally.
Certainly.
That would be...
Well, that's not actually going to be till September, but certainly.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, then let's do that. I'll put that on the roster because I think people would love to hear about this latest adventure and what you've seen, what you've done, what you've driven.
I'd be happy to chat with you anytime you want. You know, a lot of my driving takes me around just because of the charity. You know, the charity is a big part of that. It was funny because, you know, we were talking about the fundraising earlier. My first couple of years, and this doesn't come out of arrogance, just out of being so proud, and I've been fortunate. Because of what I do for a living, I'll back up here just a little bit. Because of what I do for a living, I used to do technical support for large air conditioning equipment, which meant I talk to people all over the world every day. And
you have to know your stuff.
Well, yeah, that's a whole nother point. But what I did was I was able to leverage all those contacts. So I started an email campaign, and the first year I set my fundraising goal of $1,500, thinking I'll get $20 here, $30 there.
Sure.
I raised $7,500 my first year with 97 donors. Completely blew everybody away. I didn't see it coming. Nobody else saw it coming. The next year we did Veterans, Hope for the Warriors. The first year, I'll back up. The first year was Associated Cure Project for MS. Okay, that charity is basically a data source for researchers in the field of MS research. So what they do is they all pay some sort of fee, and there's lots of donations to support this group. And the agreement, if I recall right, has to be that if they use any of the information, they have to continue to share their findings with the other teams to help expedite the process. Yeah. Really good charity. So the next year then was Hope for the Warriors. We raised like $7,900 or $7,700, something that year. 123 donors. So I finally crossed the 100 donor mark, right? So what I was doing was I was raising the bar not in terms of dollars, how many donors can we get, right?
I like that.
That year, that was 2015, I had my first overseas donor. I had one come in from Australia.
That's awesome.
Right? Well, then the next year was 2016, the Big Sky Rally. And that year the charity was Camp Sunshine. And Red Car, I wanted a way, I had been looking for a way to recognize donors. The first year I just couldn't come up with it. The second year I got it. Stars, veterans, perfect. So I would put each donor's name and a star on the trunk lid. And then as I would put them on the trunk lid, I'd take a picture of the star, send it to the donor.
Nice.
And just kept including them in the updates, make them feel like they're part of it. Hey, you're going along for the ride. I think it had an impact because they keep coming back, right? Well, then the next year for the kids, Camp Sunshine, okay, I'm going to do yellow circles with their names, and I made a sunrise pattern on the trunk lid. It was pretty cool. It worked out. We ended up with 143.
Now, what do you use, like vinyl decals or something?
Yeah, just decals like this. Actually, have an example. Last year was cops.
Okay. And they just pull right off.
And yeah, they sort of peel right off. You have to be careful, but yeah, they come off.
I love that idea.
It's a great idea.
Did you design it?
I worked with one of our sponsors last year, a guy that has a print shop down in Virginia or South Carolina or something like that.
Okay.
One of the southern states, and he came up with a design. I'm like, perfect.
Yeah.
So the black ones were for officers that we lost last year. The blue ones were for officers that were still serving.
Okay.
The ones without stripes were for just the donors, recognizing them. So
great idea.
Yeah. So we did. So we did Camp Sunshine in 2016. 2017, we went back to Hope for the Warriors. So that was stars again. That was the first year I hit 150 donors. I had 3 stripes of 50 stars because I do them with stripes of 50 stars on the trunklet, right? So it fit. I had 3 stripes of 50 stars.
You have a whole system in this, which is impressive. And then you probably have accounting mechanisms and the whole 9 yards.
Well, actually, it's funny you mention that because I'm a little OCD.
That's okay.
So I have, and I do it every year, and I have all the sheets for every year. I write down each donor's name and how much they contributed every year. Mm-hmm. I can tell you today, raised over $60,000 and since 2014 with something north of 720 donors, right? That's pretty cool, man.
That's really cool.
And the fact that all these people keep coming back. And here's the cool story about this year, right? This year we're back to Camp Sunshine, and people know that Phyllis and I decided to take a year off from competing in a rally. Now, there's another event they hold, they called Rally Drives, and I'll get into that a little bit later. Mm-hmm. But since we're not competing, what I've done is I've communicated that to everybody. Hey, look, we're not going to compete, but there's a friend of ours, Glenn Beck, who last year couldn't compete because he was fighting his own battle with bladder cancer.
Oh, geez.
So the rally as a group, we got together. They had a banner made up, and I took charge of it and put it on the hood of my car every day before the rally started, so all the teams would sign it. We made a big deal out of presenting it to them when we got home. I mean, it was pretty cool to be part of that.
That's a beautiful thing, man.
And Glenn and I have forged a pretty cool friendship because he's building a Factory 5 car. He's building a Daytona.
Oh, they're great.
Oh, yeah. And he's putting a Coyote motor in it with a manual trans and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. But he had to do a lot of chassis mods along the way. And with all my welding background, see, I was a welder for 15 years.
You talk about the TIG welds and everything.
Yeah. Well, see, I was a welder for 15 years before I started the HVAC side.
Yeah.
So I put that to use. I mean, we've modified the roll cage, the cross member so he can do undercar exhaust, modified the rear of it to give him better structural support if he gets rear-ended, just all kinds of little cool projects. Mm-hmm. So it's like, this year I want to help Glenn. So because he has a really close personal attachment with a little girl named Bailey. He calls his car Bailey's team, and she has DBA as well.
Okay.
And in 2013, her family were all up at the camp that same week, and he didn't know that was going to happen. So it was all kind of cool how that went down. Mm-hmm. So this year, my goal is, since I'm usually on the front row and not competing, I want to get Glenn on the front row.
Nice.
So that's what I'm after this year.
Nice.
So it's pretty cool because right now we got him a #1 fundraising. So yeah.
Good for you.
Well, it's for Glenn and for the kids because he puts so much into it.
Yeah.
A few years ago, him and I.
You want to give back. It's how do you not?
Well, yeah, I mean, and when it comes to the kids, you just can't say no, right? I mean, I remember talking to an HR lady at work. She's one of our donors. And the first year, in 2016, the first year that I raised for this charity, I got a bit teary-eyed. And the HR lady actually came up to me and gave me a hug. You know what I mean?
That doesn't happen.
America. Yeah, not corporate America.
Not in this day and age.
So I thought that was pretty cool. You know what I mean?
That's telling.
Yeah.
Because you're moving people's emotions for something very wrong.
It's funny you mention that because one of the letters I sent out, my fundraising campaign is pretty simple. I start out with about 600 people, and January, February, March, and April, the interval is 4 weeks. Okay. Then April to like mid-May is 3 weeks. Mid-May to mid-June is 2 weeks, and then June to July it's every week. So that's how I amp it up because there's a lot of procrastinators out there.
That's right.
And people don't mind.
They wait for tax returns and everything else.
And once they donate, they come off the fundraising list and go onto an update list. So I changed the format a little so both groups still get emails from me, right? But it keeps everybody in the loop. It keeps them all connected. And the whole thing about all of this is, I mean, it's just making them feel like they're part of it. So this year with Glenn and the story of Bailey, I sent out a story that Glenn wrote about Bailey, right? And it gives her background and everything. And one of the guys, a guy named Corn Taylor out of South Carolina, really good dude. I've actually got a picture of this guy now. He's a big burly, and I'm going to say it just like this, big burly Southern son of a bitch, right? 300 plus pounds, just a big boy. And he hunts alligators for fun, him and his family.
Jeez.
I got pictures of this guy with a 12-foot alligator hanging from a bucket of his loader, okay? He sent me back, sure, make a guy cry, why don't you? You know what I mean? So that's really cool when you get those kind of responses to what you do.
Yeah.
So
you know you're doing good work, Bob. I mean, that's...
Yeah. Well...
Let's talk a little bit about the charity itself.
Okay.
I mean, I think it's so important.
For this year, for Camp Sunshine?
Yeah. And let's talk a little bit about what Camp Sunshine is, how long you've been part of it, some of the benefits and what it does for the kids, because that is about the children.
All right. So Camp Sunshine is a camp for terminally ill children based in Casco, Maine. It was founded, and we may want to validate some of this information from their website, which is campsunshine.org.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
And they found this property and decided that this was the place to do it. And it's in Casco, Maine, and I'm trying to remember, Lake Sebago, Sebago.
Okay.
All right. And I mean, it gives the kids a place to play. And what it does is, I mean, and I actually think they do year-round activities up here, but they specialize in the rarer diseases for kids and their families to give these folks just a chance to get away from all the day-to-day challenges that they have facing the battles of the disease and, you know, just the difficulties that the kids have. I couldn't even imagine, you know, as a grandfather now, watching one of my grandchildren go through that. You know? So that's the only motivation I need.
Yeah.
That's it. It's that simple.
Well, you're a
And
warrior
all
for
of
the
us,
kids.
you know, there's so many of us that do it. It's not me alone. I mean, there's 80, 85 of us that do this, you know. And the roster changes every year. It's like a rolling roster. I mean, there are a lot of repeats. There's a lot of veterans. I've been involved with these guys every year since I discovered them. But they always pick really good charities. You know, and, of course, I'll try to stay focused on Camp Sunshine here.
Of course, yeah.
But, I mean, the charity, I can't say enough about them and what they do and what they're all about. And what's really cool is 85% of the money that they raise goes directly to these families. This camp, I'm telling you, these guys are incredible what they do, this Camp Sunshine.
Where's it based?
Casco, Maine.
Okay, you did. I think you told me.
They're up in Casco, Maine.
Okay.
And in fact, there was a release, and I'll share the release with you, of all the schedule for all the diseases that they're supporting this summer. And what they do is they typically don't support, I hate putting it this way, but like a common disease.
Yeah.
It's more of the rare disease where, for example, in 2016, was the last time we did Camp Sunshine. There was a little girl, and I'm sorry, I'm horrible with names. I can't remember her name, but she had a disease called black diamond fan anemia, or diamond black fan anemia. I'm sorry, DBA. And she had never met another kid with the same disease until she went to camp. So she didn't know anybody else that was dealing with the same stuff that she had.
It feels like she's 1 in
Absolutely.
5 billion.
And the same is true for her parents. So they go to
That's
camp.
true.
And now the parents can network with other parents to learn tips, tricks, whatever.
Yeah.
And just have somebody to bounce the stuff off.
That's right.
You know?
That's right.
And then, you know, of course, the kids, they get a chance to do that as well. But more so, just be a kid for a week at summer camp.
That's right.
Right?
That's right.
You know what I mean? It's really cool. And I miss this because the time for this is our 3rd year doing Camp Sunshine because we rotate charities every year. And the first year they did it, and I've heard the stories, I wasn't there, it was 2013. And the families and the kids made up signs for each team. They said there wasn't a dry eye in the place.
How could there be?
Yeah, see, that's the other part of what
In
we do.
a given year, what might a donation or a pledge and what might be given for the
Well,
entire?
as a group, we have raised historically, and the number's been inching up slightly. So, for example, in 2014, I want to say we raised like 103, 104, something like that. And
That can do a lot of good.
Well, but check this out. I mean, Rally North America was founded in 2009, and
Same year as the SRT.
yeah, how about that? I didn't even realize, I didn't put that together before you just said that, but they only raised like $8,000 or $9,000 the first year, but there was only a handful of teams. It was just a very small number of people. Well, word started getting out, it started catching on. Last year, 2008, the 10th rally, we topped $1 million last year, total raised for the life of the organization.
Wow.
So we raised something close to, I want to say, $140,000 last year. And, you know, of course, Price gets a lot of credit there. I mean, I keep bringing this guy up. He's my fundraising competition or nemesis, however you want to put it. But what our group does as a whole in terms of money we raise every year, you know, I mean, this year we've targeted $125,000 as our goal for Camp Sunshine. Wow. So that's what we're trying to raise.
That's fantastic.
And I'm just pleased as punch to be part of it.
Yeah.
You know, to help these kids out and their families. You know, and our charities rotate every year. So, you know, we've done Accelerated Cure Project for MS. We've done Hope for the Warriors. We've done Camp Sunshine, of course. We've done COPS. And so far, those are the only 4 charities I've been associated with. Now, a key part of the charities that we support is that when they're looking for a charity to support, we use an online website called Charity Navigator to vet as one of the tools to vet our charities. And we have a criteria that they have to spend at least 85% of their funds on the intended beneficiaries.
Yeah, less admin.
Correct. COPS, for example, I want to say they're like somewhere up around 95.
That's great to hear.
Oh, yeah. So we won't put our efforts into a charity that isn't stepping it up. It's not saying that these other charities aren't good charities, but we're trying to stay away from all the overhead costs. We want to see the money do good things.
That's right.
More good things.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of what we're about with that.
I love it. I love it. In fact, there need to be a lot more people like this. We become more and more selfish as a society, and
Well, I'm guilty of that myself. There's certain things I am.
We all.
This is where I try to turn it around.
We're not perfect, and we've all had our messes and mistakes. But the fact that we recognize it and we try and do something about it.
Yeah.
And those kids, it matters to them.
Well, and last year we did the families of cops last year for cops that get killed in the line of duty.
Yeah.
We had a guy show up. Now, I shared that I'm used to being one of the top dog fundraisers, and I kind of got used to that position.
You're allowed to have some swagger.
I work hard for it, you know. And this guy named Price Hoy shows up out of Colorado. Well, it turns out he had a direct family connection where I think it was a brother-in-law, if I got it right, was killed in the line of duty.
Oh, jeez.
So, much like I am, where I leveraged all my contacts, he did the same because he has a towing business. He knew a lot of state troopers already, so he leveraged all of that. I got schooled. I raised $12,000 last year, which I thought was tremendous. He raised $23,000 plus.
Yeah, he about doubled
down. The dude was an animal. It was crazy.
Yeah.
And our rally has awards that they give out, and each day of competition, our rallies generally range from 3 to 5 days, and depends on the distance we got to cover, how many states, that kind of thing. And every day of competition, there's three positions that are awarded trophies: first, second, third. That's it. And
Per leg, per day.
Per leg, that's correct. And if you place one day, you're done. You can't place again. So it's not like you can try to cull it, if you will.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and that's cool because it gives other teams chances. You know, when you got 80 teams, you know, you're running a 5-day rally, there's 15 teams that can actually place. That's pretty cool.
That is very cool.
They also have some other awards. They have like long distance, hard luck, car breaks down, get a wreck, whatever. They have best dressed car, and they have the spirit of the rally. Now, the spirit of the rally, that's the award that everybody wants. For my first year, when I found out about this award, because I didn't know anything about it, and I was like, that's the one I want. I was after that one. I wanted that award.
And did you get it the first year?
Oh, hell no.
Okay.
Price did.
Okay.
But deservedly so. I mean, you know, the guy worked his butt off, and he did really good things. The first year, I didn't get anything. The fall rally, we used to have 2 a year. Summer rally was the main rally, and then we have a smaller fall rally that generally went from West Virginia and Ohio or up to Michigan, that part of the country. Generally stayed in the same region. 2014, I got hard luck because of getting sideswiped. All right. Oh, I was sick because this ain't my baby. Right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I was sick about that. So 2015, got nothing. 2016, we ran Big Sky. That's when they started changing the format of the rally because the way it was set up, each day was timed. So you left the starting line, they were down what time you left and how much time it took you to get to the finish line. Now, if you got caught speeding, got pulled over, reckless driving, whatever, you were disqualified and you would give up anything that you had placed with or any eligibility for any awards. You could still participate in the rally, but you gave up eligibility at that point.
Sure.
But then they also introduced scavenger hunt style where you're doing it for points, which made it more competitive. So I think it was either day 1 or day 2. There was this team in 2016. These guys were crazy. Team Jack. There's like 6 or 8 of them that hook up.
Okay.
They've got an RV. They sticker the RV up with larger than life decals because every year we get a decal package based on the theme of that year's rally and everything. And the sponsors, they decaled up this RV. They called themselves Team Jack. Okay, so because we're going to be in the Pacific Northwest, lumber country, right? Yeah. They all had the same blue jeans, same red and black plaid shirts, same laser etched axes, same boots, knit caps, the whole 9 yards. These guys look like lumberjacks. I'm telling you, it was freaking hilarious. They're in an RV. They placed the first or second day, right? Because of the whole approach of changing it from a timed competition to a scavenger hunt, right? Yeah. I think that was a wise choice by those guys because it made it more competitive for a lot more teams.
Right.
Because on the time days, it was always the same people that would tend to push the limits a little.
That's right.
It's time.
And you're maybe...
But that's human nature, too.
It is. We're competitive.
I know my wife and I are. Oh, my gosh, yes. So there were several days during 2016 that were scavenger hunt days. The last day happened to be a time day. We left out of Kennewick. That was a town same in Washington, Kennewick, Washington. So we leave Kennewick, and damned if we didn't make a wrong turn going out of town. We took a right on a highway where we should have taken a left, so it forced us to go all the way up to the next ramp. We come back, get to where we're supposed to be, and at that point, her and I got a little testy with each other, let's say. But we recovered and figured, you know what, if we're going to do this, we got to make it up now. So we're driving Route 7 in Washington along the north side of the Columbia River Gorge, just getting it. I mean, getting it. I had one of my friends tell me later, man, that car's pretty fast. And that's all I'm going to say about that.
Yeah.
But that was some of the most beautiful roads because later on that same day, it would put us on the Oregon side of the gorge on US 30, which, of course, is here too.
That's right.
Here in York, PA. Just incredible scenery. I mean, I've seen posters. In fact, I have a poster of one of our checkpoints for that day. I have it down in my basement. And who would have known I would have ever landed there? But it was all switchbacks getting up to it, you know. And Tony and Trury are one organizer. He's notorious for when he Google Earths the roads we drive, he's looking for twisties. That's what we call them, twisties.
That's perfect.
You know, and along those lines, West Virginia is a best kept secret.
Oh, absolutely.
For this part of the country, West Virginia, with a state speed limit of 55, you can drive the speed limit and have a boatload of fun if you like driving, right? So, yeah, and I thank Tony for turning me on to that. And now that's some of the stuff that Phyllis and I, my wife, that's what we look for when we drive. She takes Dramamine, we keep it in the glove box, and that way if she has to look down and away from the windshield.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. And, oh, she's a trooper.
And you say top-notch navigator.
Absolutely. Oh, my gosh.
Big shout-out to her.
Yeah, every time we've won in a rally, because we've placed twice now, second, that all goes to her. That all goes to her. We did, so that gave us now, hard luck, 2 second places. In 2017, first day we got second. So that changed. That has never happened for us because the last time we didn't place, we placed on the last day. Right?
Okay.
So the very next year we placed on the first day. So it's kind of like 2 days in a row placing, right? When you think about it.
That's
right. If you want to twist the numbers, it's kind of like statistical stuff. Twist it the way you want it, right?
Exactly. Spin it.
But so we placed the first day. So that meant the rest of the rally we could relax. So that changes your complete approach.
I'm sure. You've really taken in the scenery and everything else.
And that year we went from 2017. We started in Blacksburg, Virginia. Was it University of Virginia Tech? One of those colleges is in Blacksburg.
Yeah.
Christiansburg area, that whole area. And then we went to VIR. We stayed the night at VIR, got to drive the track. No speed limit on the track. Oh, yeah.
How was that?
VIR is awesome. In fact, we get VIR again in summer because like I was talking about earlier, since we're not competing, Rally North America offers what they call drives.
Okay.
It's just where you pay a flat fee, a flat fee, not a fat fee, a flat fee.
Some
people might call it a fat fee. But,
yeah, right? The wallet notices.
It depends on your wallet, your checking account. But at the end of the day, I mean, it's 4 days, 3 nights of, we start at VIR, we stay at the hotel on the track, right? We get to drive the track, no speed limit. Then we're driving all over from Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, and Georgia. We're going to finish the last day, starting off at Smoky Side or Shady Side or something like that in North Carolina. It's an 8-mile drag strip. Shady Side, I think is the name of it. So we get 8th mile passes, and then that night we're going to finish it off with some runs at Road Atlanta.
Oh, my word.
Oh, yeah.
What a dream trip.
Oh, my gosh. And for drivers...
This is mid-July, right?
This is no, this one's not until September.
Okay.
Drive... Yeah,
is that one full?
Yes, it is. Now, can you get on a list for that? Absolutely. That one's a flat fee. That's $2,000, but that covers all your lodging, 2 meals a day, and all the track fees. Right?
It's not so bad.
It's respectable.
When you add it up, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, because you can get to the driving line, to the starting line in like less than 8 hours, like 6 hours you can get to the starting line, and you can get home from the finish line in 12. I've driven Atlanta home in 12.
Okay. All right.
Because it takes you through Eastern Tennessee and all that. Now, that's all highway. I mean, that's where you...
Yeah.
But during the course of the event, we're on Blue Ridge Parkway. It's just some of the other famous, back of the dragon, tail of the dragon, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Now, tail of the dragon, I've driven both of those roads before.
It's gotten very congested, I understand.
Yeah, it's got a low speed limit. It's patrolled heavily, and it's so commercialized.
It's now an attraction.
Yeah, exactly. back of the Dragon. That's the only time I'm going to say it. I'm telling you, that road is a how. 32 miles of nothing but fun. When we drove it, there was nobody in front of us. Yeah. And then with the mods I've got done to the car, I mean, strut tower brace, sway bars front and rear. At the time, because I hadn't supercharged it yet. So I had the sway bars. No, I didn't have the sway bars yet. So I was just doing the tower brace and the stock SRT suspension. And this thing, it's a heavy car. It's not quick like Mustangs, but it's still built to handle the road. It's not grandma's grocery getter.
Oh, no, not at all.
But some of the lessons I learned along the way led me to the Hotchkiss sway bars and the BMR control arms and trailing arms and, all the other stuff I've done. And then I add a supercharger to the mix.
Oh, yeah. Well, even the factory color. You want to talk a little bit about your...
It's Torre Red, You see a few of the Torre Red Challengers around. I love the color. I've never owned a red car before this one. And it had the factory Alcoas where the silver aluminum. As soon as I got the car, I realized that, you know what? It may sound like cliche in car design, but it needed the black accents. So that's why the black wheels, and I found they're knockoffs of the factory wheels.
Okay.
The same spoke design and everything. They're just knockoffs from a company called Factory Reproductions.
And we'll include photos on Instagram, of course, of Carlisle, so you can get a look at Bob's wheels.
Yeah, I'll be there. In fact, this will be the first time that I'll be at Carlisle because it always conflicted with the rally. Always. Now, the Ford boys always got to go, all the Mustang guys, because the rally's polluted with Mustangs.
I'm sure. Yeah.
Although the Challengers made a pretty respectable showing last year. In fact, there were two of us on the front row. Both of us were wrapped. I had a company-sponsored wrap on mine last year, and then Price, that I talked about earlier, the killer fundraiser, he had a Hellcat wrapped on the front row. His wrap was actually pretty nice, too.
Full body
wrap, yeah,
okay.
Both of us. They actually did a color change on mine. Mine looked like a giant blue ice cube.
Now, did the company, they pay to do that?
They not only did they pay for the wrap, they paid our ad agency to design the wrap. I worked with the ad agency directly, my wife and I. They pitched 3 separate designs to us, and you know what? We'd like if you would combine these two to make one. They did it, and we're like, that's it.
The hybrid, yeah.
Oh my God, it was awesome.
That's really cool.
It was awesome. And what was cool is we drove so far last year because we drove from here in York 2 days to get to Pueblo because I can get to the Mississippi in 12 hours, which not a bad run. It's really, you're not driving crazy to do that. And then from the Mississippi to Pueblo the next day. So
that's pretty good.
2 days to get there, 4 days to rally.
And the wrap, in a way, I guess, has a secondary benefit that...
No chips.
Exactly.
And that's where I'm headed with this because we spent all this time in the desert.
Yeah.
So we drove Pikes Peak, which the car summited Pikes Peak. I got pictures of the car at the summit.
Nice.
Yeah, that's pretty cool because not many cars
Who can
do
say
that.
Yeah.
That's right. I know a guy that races that. One of the guys in the rally, a guy named TJ Fry. I'll tell you what, now that I've driven that takes a pair to race that mountain.
Yeah, when you're basically drifting and you can just drop right off that.
Oh my gosh. I mean, because when you're going up that mountain, I got to share this. When you're going up that mountain as the driver, of course you're watching the road. You've got the mountain on the inside. You see sky ahead of you, and you got nothing on the outside.
You're having to just trust.
Your points of reference are watching that black ribbon in front of you. That's your point of reference, and trusting your limits. And of course, I wasn't willing to push limits. So
yeah.
But I also wanted to have some fun, right? Wow. I'm telling you, the Pikes Peak, that was a cool run. We did that before the rally even started. That was something her and I wanted to do on our own. Yeah, great run.
You have had some amazing memories in this car.
Oh my gosh, yeah. This car has been on some of the best roads North America's got to offer. I mean, we talked about it earlier. Road to the Sun, Glacier National Park. Yellowstone, the same year. Big Sky, Montana. That was a beautiful run. Just that little bit of a road taking us up to the lodge that they put us up in. I mean, the view from our hotel room was a snow-capped mountain. I mean,
like a painting.
Yes.
Or better.
It looked like you walked into a Bob Ross painting.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah, right. Exactly.
So,
everybody knows that, Bob.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I pointed that out there. But, I mean, some of the roads they put us on, the stuff in the Smoky Mountains, for example. There are so many cool roads in North America. All you have to do is get off the interstate.
Yeah.
For example, this summer, we're doing that drives in September. So we're doing a bucket list drive for her. She's a Navy brat.
Okay.
And I'm ex-Navy. I was a boiler tech.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah, dead rate. There isn't any more of us left. They don't make them anymore. But anyway, so when we finish in Atlanta, we're going to drive to Savannah. I lived there as a kid in '69 for the Apollo Moon mission. I happen to remember all that, which was pretty cool. Nice. But anyway, we're going to drive from Savannah to Maine along the coast. We're going to stay off the interstates. with the only bucket list I have in an entire drive. Everything else is up to her. I want to drive the Bay Bridge Tunnel. I've never driven it.
Okay.
I've done Hampton Roads Tunnel, but never Bay Bridge.
The exhaust is going to sound amazing.
Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait to downshift, open the windows and downshift.
Let it crackle.
Oh my God, we did that on the way to a rally. Oh my gosh, what was it? Fall of 2014. A bunch of us hooked up, and we were going to Athens. Where were we going? Were we going to Athens for starting line or Cincinnati or something? We were heading to Ohio. Well, the PA tunnels. We hooked up before the first PA tunnel, and a couple really nice Mustangs, and of course this, and we hit the tunnel, and we had set it up that one of the cars would video the run, and we all opened our windows, downshifted our cars, and you should have heard us screaming through that tunnel.
Thunderous.
Oh, it's awesome. It was cool, man. Only motorheads appreciate that. All the old folks and all the blue hairs, they're like, oh my God.
Yeah.
But only guys like us would appreciate
Absolutely.
it. You know?
It just gets the hairs on the back of your neck to stand up.
Oh, I love doing it. Even to this day, I love going through Jersey barriers. I'll downshift through Jersey barriers just to do it.
Nice cacophony going.
Oh, yeah, you bet. You bet.
Awesome. Bob, I can't thank you enough for opening up
Absolutely.
your garage and your
Sure.
afternoon to me. We will definitely do at least a part 2, maybe a part 3.
Absolutely.
And for
Sure
those,
game.
and again, for those that check out the Instagram, we'll have links, and Bob can share it.
Sure.
We'll talk more about the charities and the way he is giving
Yeah.
back to those that are going through some tough times, the families thereof, and I really respect Bob for the fact that he is a giver, and he happens to use a beautiful high-powered car as the tool, but along with other people, he's making a big dent and difference in this world, and that says a lot.
Well, thanks.
So thank you.
And Google search Rally North America. You'll learn everything you want about what we do from that website.
Okay.
And we have a Facebook page too, Rally North America.
Awesome.
Yep.
Bob, you're the man.
Awesome.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you again to Bob for opening up your house and your garage. I really enjoyed hanging out with you, and this is just what is so great about this car community and all things with Cars of Carlisle. It's the people, and I have met some incredible folks through this podcast. This is your podcast. I'm simply at the driver's seat helping steer it, but keep sending us emails at carsofcarlisle@outlook.com. Let us know your thoughts, feedback, the ratings, reviews. We've been getting a couple 5-star ratings just in the past 24 hours. That makes my heart jump. Thanks so much, guys. Really appreciate it. Okay, welcome back to Studio A. Well, the answer to that question is Bob indicated it was Route 50. Now, I know doing some internet research, there's been various perspectives on that, but the answer for this, for all intents and purposes for this podcast, Route 50, according to Bob, is where Forrest stopped. And he said that was such desolate road, and you heard him say there that nothing around, when they were probably the most traffic that had been down that road in quite some time. And I'm probably guessing they went a little faster than the double nickel at that time. So anyhow, looking forward for you to come back next week. There is so much happening with Spring Carlisle just around the corner. Spring Carlisle is coming up April 24th through the 28th, and I just happened to be there today. I stopped at Carlisle Events at the main offices. I was dropping off a banner that they're going to be putting up on the grounds for me, and looks like so much is happening. Things are shaping up. Post-winter, it's looking like the fairgrounds should prior to a major event. So Spring Carlisle is almost here. I am excited. I know you probably are as well. Next week, you've heard us been talking about us turning 1 year old. We're going to do a feature on that. And heading to Watkins Glen this weekend to do some laps in the BRZ. So that'll be all part of next week's episode. And then quickly followed by some interviews I've been conducting here just in the last several evenings. One of which will be Bill Sangre. He is a restoration expert with the NCRS. He's affiliated with the AACA Museum in Hershey. Incredible guy, and his garage is over the top. 20-foot ceilings, multiple lifts, stacked cars, and some incredible muscle, mainly American muscle. So we'll get into that. A lot of things happening, so come on back next week. For now, I'm going to leave you with drive well, be well, and take care.